Hey, welcome to Dan's Model Works, and today we're looking at Revell's 49 Mercury Special Edition. This came out in 2011, and the reason we're taking a look at this kit is Natasha got it for Christmas, and she suggested we do a review on it. I did a quick little search, and although this was featured on scale car models, he didn't really review the full kit, so I thought we would take a look at it today. Now, Natasha will tell you why she wanted this kit for Christmas.
Before Christmas at the hobby shop, Dad asked me if I wanted a model for Christmas. So I said yes, and a couple times before, the time we went that time, I saw this car and I liked it, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to get it if I got it for Christmas. And I really liked it, so I'm happy that it's in my collection now, and it's my first Skill 3 car.
So let's take a look at the box. On the side here we have Revell's standard panel information, and it has a total parts count of 140 molded in white. It's got water slide decals, and it basically says you can build this as a chopped car. All right, you can't do this as a stock, because otherwise it'd have to give you a completely second set of body moldings, which would be kind of silly. At any rate, of course, they've got the usual paint guide here. If we flip it over, you can see they've got the two main options in the kit, although you could probably pick and choose and mix and match. As you can see, you've got two different sets of wheels and tires. There's the engine, and I believe somebody said it's a Cadillac engine, which is entirely possible. We've got two different grille options and two different bumper options, as well as that different treatments for the rear end. So let's take a look inside the kit. So we've already picked through this bit, but I don't think we've actually opened it up in terms of the bags or anything like that. Looking at the hood, I think we stuck the hood in place just to see how it was going to fit. It doesn't come with the actual hood in place, and this was bagged up. We'll take a closer look at the body later. We have an alternate hood, and this is a bag of parts we have not yet opened. Here's our clear parts, and we've got, looks like 3 chrome sprues, and we've got 1 set of tires, and these are molded on a tree like this. Then we've got some separate tires here, and these ones I believe are for creating the white walls. And we have an extensive decal sheet, and of course Revell's instruction book, and here are the axle pins. So here are the instructions. It's a typical Revell instruction manual. They have a little potted history in 3 languages. They've got the legal notices and the modeling tips. Please don't eat the parts. We move inside here, and then we've got a painting guide, and like I said, some more warnings. And then they have all of the parts listed, which is neat because if you're new to making cars and things like that, you might say, what is this little gizmo? And you can always look it up and say, oh, that's, let's say, the engine front. Or, that's the steering box. That's what that little thing is. As we flip over here, you can see more of the parts are listed. And as I said before, it's a typical Revell instruction manual in that they keep it fairly simple. There's rarely more than 4 or 5 parts to go on in each step.
It makes it easier for beginners when it's less complicated.
Yeah, sometimes AMT's instruction manuals or MPC's instruction manuals where literally the entire engine goes together in one step, that can be complicated. Here we've got the assembly of the engine continuing, and then going into the chassis. And then we've got suspension parts. Looks like the exhaust. and a cross member going across. It has an X member. And then we have two versions for the wheels. We have stock wheels, which basically have the white walls, and then we have the custom wheels, although really, even if you're doing the stock option, it is a chopped car. It has a lowered roof. And then we have the brake assemblies going on, and then we get into assembly of the body. We've got the seats, and this car does not come with a tub. It has separate door panels, steering wheel, putting together the radiator and putting the interior in. And once again, we have some options. There are two options for the grille, and they're both custom. Moving along, we've got finishing up the body, and then the body drop. And as well as that here, you can see there's an option of hoods, what kind of hood you want to use. And then as well as that, oh, this is interesting. It comes with a trophy in case you've won your local car show. And there you can see putting on the flame decals and another option for decals. According to the bags, this kit was made in China.
Don't tell Donald.
We'll start with the clear sprues. And we're not going to take these out of the bag because Natasha is going to be building it soon. We don't want these to get scratched up. But here you can see there's the back window, and there is your windshield, and it has the sunshades molded in, and they look quite nice. And the headlight lenses are molded in clear as well. Then we'll move on to the chrome sprues. We have 3 chrome sprues. Here's the first one. And it has some headlight buckets. And here's the trophy I was talking about. And it has some of the engine parts. And it looks like the valve covers. And there's a license plate surround. This sprue has what looks to be the stock hubcaps. And it has one of the grille options. And one of the bumper options as well. Not sure what these are. I think they might be turn signal buckets. And then the final chrome sprue has this delightful set of teeth. Let's flip this around. There we go. So that's one of your alternate grills. On the subject of grills, this looks to be the stock grill here. And then here is an alternate front grill. And this is a different front end treatment that has the turn signals added on. So as the kit states, as Natasha just pointed it out, it is a 3-in-1 kit. There's 3 ways to do the front end. And here are the custom wheels. And we've got some chrome surrounds. And we've got lots of little sprues here. This one just contains, looks like part of the firewall. And whatever these are. This one has our chassis. It looks well molded, and don't think it's warped. Looks good. And then we've got a couple more parts on here. This seems to be the style of a lot of Revell's most recent kits, in that there's a lot of little sprues, which enables them to do many different versions of the car. Like this sprue here is just the side skirts from the looks of it. This has some suspension parts. It's got our rear axle, and it's got the springs. And here's part of the front end. There's your drive shaft. This sprue has our front and back seats. This sprue has, looks like another set of skirts for the wheels. And these are the inserts to create the white wall tires, so you don't have to have a steady hand while painting your black vinyl tires. This has some exhaust parts and the backs of the wheels. This has a fan and the pulley. And it looks like, I was going to say springs, but I don't think those are springs. They could be. Here's the engine block, molded in 2 halves, which is fairly normal. And this sprue has a radiator, and it's a 2-part radiator, so you get decent detail on both sides. As well as that, the ejector pin marks won't ever be seen. I'm looking at this radiator, I'm thinking, I might make a mold of that. Keep it for stock. Here's the top of the radiator right there. Here is the side panels for the inside of the car, the seat backs, and here is the dashboard. And that does it for the sprues, the many, many sprues. Here is the underside of the car. And it looks well molded, nice detail in there. And by the time you put the separate frame and everything on there, that's going to look quite nice. Not a whole lot in here, but then all you're really looking at in terms of what you're going to see is the floor here. All the other parts go onto this. There are a couple of ejector pin marks. I don't know how much they're going to show. There's the battery, and it's molded in. Let's take a look at the tires. So these tires, and I'm not quite sure why they're molded in a different process than the other ones, but as you can see, there's quite a significant recess there, and that is for those white rings to go in to make the white wall tires. And there's no printing on these tires, which is normal for Revell. And here's our other set of tires. And they do not have the recess for the white walls. They do have a nice tread pattern on them. Now let's look at the body. As I said before, we just clipped the hood on, and if memory serves, the hoods were together in a bag with the body. If we look at the body, it looks well molded. There's very little that needs to be sanded off. Probably just these lines right here. And molded into the roof is the headliner, which is a nice touch. Although whether you're going to be able to see that through that lowered top, I don't know. There is a mold line going across the back of the trunk, but it is very, very slight. I don't see that causing any problems. So the hoods, they give you a choice of hoods. You have a stock hood, and then you have one with a multitude of louvers in it. So that's kind of nice that they give you that option. Although, if you look at the underside, they're both plain. So the louvers that you see here are not represented on the underside. Here's the extensive decal sheet. And they give you 2 sets of gauges, one with a white background, one with a black background. And there are a few different license plate options. And then, of course, we have the flames. And then they give you, it looks like 3 different options for the pinstriping. One is black, one's white, and one's gold. So you can see all the different versions of that, should you choose to go with that sort of treatment. And then up here, we were wondering what all these rectangles were. We wanted to do a little bit of searching, and it turns out the trophy they give you, you can do that one of 3 ways. And these rectangles go on the vertical parts of the trophy. So your trophy won't look like everybody else's. There will be at least 2 other variations of your trophy, if that's important to you. Am I the only one who can't ever get a kit back in the box after you've opened it?
I like this kit, and I'm excited to start building it, and I like all the extra parts. and I think it will be fun to build. Thanks for watching Dan's Model Works, and keep on modeling.